Well, greetings, YouTube model people. How is it going? Welcome to my episode number 12. Episode number 12 of the Sunday Morning Model Cars and Coffee series. And of course, this is hosted by Paul over at Left Coast Model Car Builds. Left Coast Model Car Builds. Thank you, Paul, for the series. So before we get too far along, I just want to highlight that it is Memorial Day weekend. Many people have Monday off on actual Memorial Day, including myself. And just to take a moment and truly think and remember what Memorial Day truly is, okay? What I do pretty much every year is, it used to be my mom and my dad and I, but now it's just my mom and I. We go to a town every year, and we'll probably show you a small clip of it on my regular YouTube videos. We go to a town every year, and on Memorial Day, Monday itself, and we attend a ceremony, listen to some speeches, some presentations of the wreaths, and honor the people who basically, gave the ultimate sacrifice for love of country. And basically I know they extend that to when my father was in the fire department, volunteer fire department, they give out awards and things, and they recognize people who did special things through the year and through the years. Their volunteerism, they celebrate that as well, because they're putting their life in risk too. But basically, Memorial Day, yeah, it's very important. And then there's a celebratory sort of thing to celebrate our freedom of it as well. But obviously here in the United States, it's easy to lose sight of that with all the non-memorial related things going on. So I just ask that you take a moment, even if you can't make it to a ceremony. There's probably one in your town or the town one over from you. Even if you can't do that for whatever reason, just take a few moments on Memorial Day itself to yourself and just say, thank you to all those who have fallen, and and just give them a moment on that day. That's all we ask. I have my red, white, blue on here today. That's all on that. So anyway, moving on. Also, my thoughts are out to anyone who may be facing some crazy weather situation here in the United States. It's been pretty wild, to say the least. You can see I'm wearing my sweatshirt again. That's because we're having unusually chilly, cold kind of weather, but nothing to the extreme that some other areas. So my thoughts are with those areas and those people who might be affected directly or indirectly, friends or coworkers or whoever. Thoughts are with all of them, that everything's okay and will be okay. So, to go on a lighter note, episode 12, it's not technically a model car, but neither was last week. We did the open road camper. So yeah, let's get into this and show you what we got here. It's kind of a favorite of mine here. So let's take a look. Okay, so here we are. Technically not a model car, as we said. However, this is definitely a favorite build of mine. I really went outside the box of my normal sort of box stock style of building with this one, which was super cool. And, all that good stuff. This is technically, I'm pretty positive it was the Monogram kit, but this is a 1/32 scale fire truck, Mack, 1970s, right? And it was the Backdraft kit. So some of you may remember that. Very clearly, the box art has Backdraft on it and everything like that. I would have kept the box, except it was a total disaster. And I'll tell you a funny story about that here real quick. I bought this at the NNL East. I don't remember the year. Again, I keep forgetting to put years on these things for you guys, but I'll see if I can look it up and put it in the description. But anyway, so I look up, basically I went to the vendor, and I'm the worst negotiator deal-making guy ever. I pay probably way too much for everything because I'm just not a good deal maker. But so I came up to the table, the vendor's there, and I pick up the kit. I said, you know what? I want this kit. I want to get it. I already made a decision. I was going to make it. It was $10 at the time. And in a joking way, just to break the ice, walking up to the vendor, he's busy and all that, I said, hey, how's it going? I said, I'm going to get this. I said, the box ain't too good a shape, but you know what? And I was going to say, I'm not buying the box, I'm buying the model. He didn't let me say what I said, basically finish my sentence. Once I said, oh, the box is not too good a shape, he goes, okay, $5. So he dropped it to half price. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. There's my best wheeling and dealing victory ever with a vendor. So going into the model here a little bit, I'm going to grab a little pointer, I guess. I don't know, because I'm pretty far away than I usually am with the camera because it's a little bigger and I got to get it in frame. So somehow, for some reason, I want to do an all-white fire truck, kind of like the opposite of what a traditionalist would do, because obviously most fire trucks are red. So I said, well, let me just look online like I normally do for inspiration. I go to Google image search, and again, this was back in the early 2000s sometimes, maybe in 2004 or 5, somewhere in there, somewhere in that realm. And I just did an image search on white Mack fire trucks. And there was a town that came up basically on the Cape there in Massachusetts, Cape Cod area, not in Cape Cod, but along the Cape, that had a history of not only past, but also present day, of having, like an all-white fleet of fire trucks in their town. So I said, well, this is perfect. So I had the lettering here from the American LaFrance AMT kit. I have extra lettering of it. I still do, as a matter of fact. I give you a lot of it, decals. I said, okay, it's Harwich, Massachusetts is the town. So I put the name Harwich on here and engine 4, and all that good stuff. And yeah, so that was the inspiration for the color scheme of the build. Now, the lights here, flashlights, the helmet, and the boots are all aftermarket parts. They're metal, white metal. I don't remember who the vendor was. I highly doubt even that they might even be still around. The fun little thing is, I also, it probably could be done better, but I don't touch anything. Once it's done, it's done. The fire coat is a custom-made fire coat, an idea I had, and just folded it up and put it next to the equipment there, ready to roll whenever they get the call, right? Luckily, being the 70s, the hose and the hose bed influence was simple because I just used some used shoelaces. Excuse me. And then, this is also at the market. The nozzles here, those two. These are just regular pieces of nuts and screws and bolts and things, and so is that. Not technically anything to do with Firematics. So yeah, so the shoelaces were perfect because in those days they didn't have the yellow, kind of high volume hose. So although I made this more modern because I did create the sort of that dark red hose, vinyl hose here, but this company, whatever reason, didn't replace the high volume hose yet. That's my storyline. I'm sticking to it. So there you go. We'll just give it a little quick turn here just to show you the hose in the back. And all that good stuff. So there it is. Yeah. So again, I kind of went on a little bit here, guys. Sorry about that. But this is definitely a favorite build of mine. Again, it's a snap tight, I think, kind of kit. I went under there was another kit with this exact same model in it that they sold, which is the Heroes collection or something like that. I think it came with this and a police car, if memory serves. So it's been popped a few times. I think it was popped on its own again at some point. So it's been done a few times. This is the part I wish model companies would do, which is more emergency vehicles, whether it's old pumpers like this or rescue trucks, ladder trucks, whatever have you, snorkel trucks. But to make it more economical, I understand it's so expensive for the molds, is the 1/32 scale, because this is a great scale for trucks. It's not overbearing as far as, shelf space and such. and it's not overbearing to the idea of creating molds because, obviously we know 124, 125 is huge. So it would be more expensive, right? So anyway, kind of going on a tangent a bit, but thanks for all tuning in. I hope you have a good, safe weekend. Again, thank you for letting me put a little mention of Memorial Day here in the United States. I know that's not around the world, but maybe just take a moment in your country. Think of all your countrymen and women who've given the ultimate sacrifice over the years and for service of your country. So with all that being said, take care. Cheers.